Remember, remember the 5th of November.
Hi everybody, it's Richard here again and welcome to another video. Now we're fast approaching the 5th of November, which is the release date of ABBA's 9th studio album, Voyage, 40 years after their last one, The Visitors, which came out on the 30th of November 1981. Now anybody that watches this channel knows that I am a huge ABBA fan and I really cannot wait. I'm counting down the days. Now I have done some ABBA videos before. I've ranked their singles. I've done the top 20 ABBA LP tracks. I also did a pre and post ABBA video about the girls and Bjorn and Benny, what they did before and after ABBA. I've never actually done the ranking of the albums, and I'm going to leave that until I live with Voyage for a while because I want to include it. So in the rundown to the 5th of November, I'm going to do like 3 collection videos, and they are all on the 7-inch singles plus one 12-inch plus one CD single. And I'm going to do 3 separate videos. The first one will be the boring one, this one, which is just the UK releases. The second video will be the UK picture discs that I have in my collection. And then the best one will be the non-UK singles, the singles that were released in other countries like Japan, America, Holland, Belgium, Sweden, Germany, France and so forth. I've got quite a few. Now they've all got really good picture sleeves. So obviously some of the same type singles, like you'll have Dancing Queen and all the rest, but there are a few songs in there that were never singles in the UK. So starting off with this video, which is the UK singles, and ABBA were on the Epic label, and in the 1970s in the UK very few picture sleeves were released, and in fact from 1974 to 1979 there was only one picture sleeve of an ABBA single, and can you guess it? So the very first single to be released in the UK was Ring Ring, and guess what? I don't have it. It didn't chart. It was released in 1973. It sold 5,000 copies, and I must get it. But we'll come back to that in a minute. But the first one that everyone knows, their second single, is actually Waterloo, and it's on the yellow Epic label, and it's backed with Watch Out, another track from the Waterloo album. #1 hit, winner of the 1974 Eurovision Song Contest. It absolutely launched them. So Waterloo was their first single to chart here. They then released Ring Ring again, but it's not exactly the same version, and this is the one I have. It's a slight remix, and I think it's slightly slowed down, but yeah, it only got to number 32 in 1974. Other countries had released Honey Honey, which I think would have been better. The actual original version of Ring Ring is better than the remix, but this is not as bad as the US version, where they really remixed it and piled on the sax, and it's actually unlistenable. So number 32 hit, 1974, Ring Ring. All these singles are very, very cheap. You can pick them up for pennies, apart from one, and it's this one here, and this is their third single, So Long, and it's backed with I've Been Waiting for You. Both tracks featured on the ABBA album from 1975, although this was released in 1974, and this failed to chart, and this is probably why it is a little bit more expensive. To get this for a tenner you're doing well, but usually goes between 15 and 20 quid. The next single in 1975 was I Do, I Do, I Do, I Do, I Do, and this only managed number 38 in the charts, although it got to #1 in Australia. And the B-side of this is Rock Me. Both tracks on the ABBA album, not ABBA the album, just the ABBA album from 75. Then they finally got success in the UK again with their next release, which is SOS, the B-side, Man in the Middle. And this got to #6 in the charts. This also featured on that ABBA album. And then in 1975 again, they released Mamma Mia, with the B-side is Tropical Loveland, one of the worst songs ever did. Yeah, this got to number one, but it got to number one at the start of 1976. In fact, it took the number one position from Bohemian Rhapsody, and both songs feature the words Mamma Mia. So that was their second number one hit, and then they just went, they exploded really. The next one up is Fernando with the B-side Hey Hey Helen, and number one in 1976. And then the last song to be released on the Yellow Epic label is Dancing Queen, and this was released in 76 as well, and this here actually has a B-side of That's Me, which was a single in some other countries, and everybody knows this, and this was a number one hit, I believe, in America. I think it was number one all over the world, and it's their most famous song. Now, as I say, this is the last one to come out on the Yellow label. There has been pressings of this on the next label, which is an orange label, but I think those are obviously second, third pressings of it, because it sold so well. And the first single to come on the orange label from the Arrival album, Dancing Queen, also featured on the Arrival album, is Money 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 on this new orange label, and the B-side is the non-LP track Crazy World. And the third single from Arrival, which was released in 1977, and it's Knowing Me, Knowing You, and the B-side of this is Happy Hawaii. I forgot to say that obviously Dancing Queen got to number one, Fernando got to number one, and Money 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 only got to number 3, but still pretty good. Happy Hawaii is a reworked version of the song Why Did It Have to Be Me, even though it was recorded first, and it's very sunshiny and tropical, and I think it's very good. A lot of people don't like it, but they went with the other version for the album, which is probably better, although I do like the both of them. So Knowing Me, Knowing You, number one hit in 77. The next one in 77 is The Name of the Game, a number one hit, and the B-side of this is a live version of I Wonder Departure, and this was featured on ABBA the album, and the studio version of I Wonder featured on ABBA the album as well. And then in 1978, a number one hit with Take a Chance on Me, and the B-side of this is I'm a Marionette, both tracks from ABBA the album. Then in 1978 we have a non-LP single, and it's Summer Night City, with a medley, live medley on the B-side, which has Pick a Bale of Cotton on top of Old Smoky and Midnight Special. It's okay, it's not bad, but nothing overly special, and this got to number 5 in the charts, and this was shown a slightly more disco sound. And then in 1979 the first single was Chiquitita, and this from the Voulez-Vous album, and this got to number 2, and the B-side of this is Love Light, which didn't feature on the album. The second single was Does Your Mother Know, which reached number 4, also on Voulez-Vous, and the B-side of this is Kisses of Fire, which was also on Voulez-Vous, and Does Your Mother Know is the one where Bjorn takes the lead vocals. And finally we get Picture Sleeve in the 70s, and the next single is Angel Eyes, back with Voulez-Vous. Now, there was no video for Angel Eyes, so Voulez-Vous was shown on Top of the Pops. I think Voulez-Vous was the A-side almost everywhere else in the world. I think this really is a double A-side, but the radio stations played Angel Eyes, and it's a pretty nice picture sleeve, and this got to number 3 in the charts. But guess what, in 1979 they went back to not having a picture sleeve again, and they released Gimme Gimme Gimme, A Man After Midnight, and the B-side of that is The King Has Lost His Crown. Now, this was written to promote ABBA's Greatest Hits Volume 2, and this got to number 3 in the charts, and The King Has Lost His Crown is from the Voulez-Vous album. And then at the end of the year they released I Have a Dream, which has a live version of Take a Chance on Me, and this is also from the Voulez-Vous album, so they went back to it. and this eventually reached number 2 in early 1980. The first single of 1980 was a number 1 hit, and it's The Winner Takes It All from Super Trooper with the B-side Elaine, which didn't feature on the album. And then the second single was also a number 1 hit, Super Trooper with the B-side The Piper, which both tracks featured on the Super Trooper album. Then in 1981 the third single was released, and this was only released on 12-inch single, and it's Lay All Your Love on Me with the B-side On and On and On, which I believe was a single in America in its own right, and this got to number 7 in the charts. And also in 1981 the first single to come from the Visitors was One of Us, with the absolutely fantastic non-album B-side Should I Laugh or Cry. Should have been on the album, and this got to number 3 in the charts, and it was their last top 10 hit they had until just recently. And the second single, you could see that the public had kind of fallen out of love with ABBA. Head Over Heels, which I think is a magnificent single, catchy as hell, with the B-side The Visitors, brilliant song, both from the Visitors album, and it only managed number 25 at the start of 1982. Then also in 1982 they released The Day Before You Came, which was used to promote the Singles album, the first 10 years, and the B-side of this is a non-album track, Cassandra. Unfortunately got to number 32, and it is an absolutely magnificent song. It has been covered by Blancmange, it's been covered by Tanita Tikaram, absolutely magnificent. And then the last single in 1982 was Under Attack, which also featured on that double singles album, and the B-side of this is You Owe Me One, and it's a non-LP track. Those 4 tracks were written for which was going to be their 9th album. They actually had 6 songs written, those 4 plus a song called I Am the City, which was got onto More ABBA Gold in 1993, and the other one was Just Like That, which has never been released. And then in 1983 this came out, Thank You for the Music, back with Our Last Summer, and it's a good way to end, really. I can't remember what number it got to, I'll put it down below. I forgot to say Under Attack got to number 26. I think this got to number 30 something. But yeah, it should have been a single first time round along with Eagle, and it was in various countries, but finally it got released in 1983. Now there has been some ABBA singles since, like Dancing Queen has been reissued and it has charted. But in 2021 we have I Still Have Faith in You from the new album Voyage. Now this is only a one-sided single, and this got to number 14 in the charts, which is not a bad showing considering anybody over the age of 21 just does not get into the singles charts. And the other one is a CD single here, and it's Don't Shut Me Down, and this is also a 1-track CD single. I don't understand why they just didn't put the 2 on the 1 CD or the 2 on the 1 7-inch as a double A side, and this got top 10. This managed to get to number 9. So remember the 5th of November is when the new Voyage album is coming out. As I said at the start of the video, I can't wait. So the next video I'm going to show the picture discs that I have of ABBA, and I'll be doing that quite soon. Okay, that's me for now. All the best now. Bye bye.